10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Gyrocopter!
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Invictus Gaming's turn to ban.
Ah.
Ten seconds remaining. 5. Reserve time.
Skywrath Mage. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Invictus Gaming's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Sven stands ready.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Shadow Demon!
Very little Shadow Demon recently, but I often feel like he's a somewhat forgotten about support. Yeah?
He combos really well with a hero like Lina.
Okay, very good. So, quick round of predictions before we hand it over to the casters. Cap, we want to start with you. Now that we've seen the draft, who do you think is taking game one?
Well, my faith is a little shaken after VP loss like that, but I will double down on the CIS region, Vega Squadron.
I just like IG's draft better. I think that they can get the ball rolling a lot sooner. I thought Doom was a pretty good pick, but more than anything, I feel kind of a little bit shaky about the Clockwork pick. And I feel like Shadow Demon, if you get behind it all, that's a hero that just drops off.
Okay, and quickly, Mel.
Completely agree with William. It's just a very well-rounded lineup from IG, and I think they're going to have the upper hand.
All right, with that said, we're going to hand it over to our casters. Game one of IG versus Vega starts now.
That it does, and it'll be myself, W1, here with Merlini to take you through this best of three. And a game which I really feel can be absolutely exciting. Like, IG play terrific Dota, as long as they don't get a little too over-aggressive, and Vega, they're the new kids on the block that have been performing really well here at the tournament so far.
And there's no Broodmother.
And there's no Broodmother or Alchemist, which makes for a very entertaining time.
What do you think about the Sven pick?
Man, I'm actually a huge fan of Sven. To see so much armor come in, you'll see someone like Jarakot become really, really ineffective. The chase is great, the stunts are good.
Or what about the quad?
Yeah, the Queen of Pain is always going to be a problem, but as the panel was saying, as long as IG can be the aggressors, they can walk over Vega. You can shut down that Queen of Pain by getting an early Blink Dagger on the Doom, getting that Doom on the Queen of Pain, and then Sven just charges in, and he gives a way for the heroes like Doom to get back out without losing their life. And we're not even bringing the Ember Spirit into the equation at that point.
Yeah, I feel like Shadow Demon is a really important hero in this lineup. You can easily get bursted down by Ember Spirit if you're out of position, but at the same time you can save so many people from Mystic Flare, Sven Burst. You can Demonic Purge the Sven and just kite him all day.
Yeah.
It's a tricky position for both the Sven and the Shadow Demon.
He's the one that can really screw up that initiation of Invictus Gaming. I like it. Not a bad combo as well for the roaming combo. So when Seema as well as Solo decide to combine together and they just smoke rotate, you've got these early boots over on the Shadow Demon, so he can get himself in range and cause real troubles. Right now he's just trying to make life difficult for Ferrari in the mid lane, but Ferrari's got a PMS, he's got a decent amount of consumables up his sleeve. it shouldn't be that difficult for him in these early stages. But he did go Sleight of Fist level 1, and it's just harassment, nothing more. Maybe they're hoping you can trap him on the wall.
That's the dodge. When I saw Miracle play this matchup versus Vega's Queen of Pain, Miracle got destroyed because he went a 2-0-3 build with no Sleight. If you get level 1 Sleight, you can actually dodge the Queen of Pain and kind of get out of that troubling phase, especially if she goes for level 2 Shadow Strike.
Are you a big... Oh, Luo? Luo can't actually walk himself down there solo. He can trap him on the corner, and that's exactly the position he's in. Luo's got no way out. Vega will be taking first blood for a simple rotation from Shadow Demon. He came up to the stairwell and blocked that one hero width area, and made it so Doombringer had no escape mechanism. The downside about an offlane Doom, how do you survive when you don't even have Scorched Earth?
They don't really have any catches. I mean, Doom should not be a factor, I would say, after this start. Like, he can't really go into the jungle at this point because Gyro's going to push down his tower very, very early with the early Ring of Protection. And Ferrari's getting pressured a lot in the mid lane. Sven, you're not terribly worried about getting free farm. He takes a lot to come online. You need like Treads plus Blink and then like a Mask if you want to do a lot of damage, and then eventually you need BKB. Mag.
Okay, that's not where he wants to be. Telekinesis, and he's gotten cliffed on the side of Roshan. This courier's going to come out, but at the same time, the courier is going to walk close enough that this observer ward will be able to see it on the bottom lane. So if IG want to contest it, they could, but they're not going to waste any time. They know they've taken the clockwork out for a short period of time, and that's value in itself.
It frees up Chuan to kind of help out the other lanes, and maybe Luo can get some more levels on top. He is level 2 at this moment. He shared the experience from the Devour with Seema.
He's got to use... Okay, so this is really difficult for Mag. He's going to bring the courier inside of Roshan. He needs to actually use the handoff item command. Okay, he doesn't have to do it. He can do it from outside. But you can't just directly say, courier, give me this TP scroll. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal. It would have been like 5 seconds until courier upgrade. They don't lose out too much with that, I'd say.
Luo. This time he's got Scorched Earth, as now give him the regeneration and movement speed to get away in time. But that's one Rocket Barrage, a Slave, and a Light Strike array. And you basically kill off the Doom.
Solo's walking around. And Luo has no Scorched Earth up.
Might be a little bit more worried about bottom lane, however. Mag just gets popped with that Storm Bolt. With the Warcry, they have the movement speed to get him, but you are right, top lane. This is where Luo ends up dying. And they don't even need Pasha to be here, but in fact, yeah, they didn't even use Rocket Barrage. It's an easy kill in for the Shadow Demon.
I think he needs to eat up better creep to kind of even think about surviving in the lane, as well as that Observer Ward being a little bit better. It hasn't spotted, I don't think, the Shadow Demon at all on either rotation.
He needs that aura. Like, right now, like, having Swiftness aura is not really the greatest. Like, attack speed doesn't really mean much.
But he pushes out the lane, Toby.
That's a mute point.
But Ferrari's kind of doing, he's doing very fine on the Ember Spirit. Generally, you don't see Ember Spirits this healthy in the mid lane, and this is before his bottle is getting refilled, so that's a really good position for him. We saw No One's Queen of Pain yesterday just decimate, and you know, you kind of need to limit him in the lane and get a fair amount of CS. So 12 to 18, I would say that's actually a win for Ember in this particular matchup, especially with Shadow Demon coming in the early game.
Yeah, especially too when IG are going to do what you kind of already expect them to do, and that's this kind of pressure. Like, you got Chuan moving up around the tree line, and Mag really feels the pressure. He has to back up, and in fact, he's asked for support, so Seema has rotated down to this bottom lane, while Rabbit, there's no God Strength, so not really inflicting a heavy chunk of damage into that tier 1 tower. But Vega, like, they needed to bring the Lina down here, because she's the only wave clear they've really got beyond a level 2 rocket.
And we see Rabbit go a very unusual build, the 2-2-1. You almost always see like 3-0-1 or 3-0-2. One level 1 stats optional, so you can stun more often. He does have the mango for another stun, but they don't actually have that many stacks to work with. Ancients aren't stacked at all.
They're coming top, but at the same time, Chuan, what a time for a rotation. He picks up the gyro.
And Luo will just walk away. Very nice throwaway by Chuan, so he doesn't get owned by the Rocket Barrage. But they don't have that many stacks for Rabbit. I wonder what he's going to be farming. Generally, if you see the Cleave build, you see an early Helmet Dominator, so he can stack Ancients for himself, but you only see the one large camp stacked 3 times, and Luo might have to go there.
Well, I just swallowed some pride.
And now Ferrari's almost level 6, so that's really, really good for Ember Spirit. The first like 5 or 6 minutes is the worst time for this Ember. Thanks, man.
Alright, so
Are you okay, Toby? Are you alive?
I gotta get my mind back in the game, bro. It's just out of there for a moment. I'm like, great, Sean rotation. This is one way to do it. Maybe if King J can get that concussive shot off, but no, Mag. They'll be fine just picking up that room. Really feels like a lot of these movements as well, like IG, Chorn's moving up to that top lane, just stopping these ganks. Every time, like, maybe IG or Vega are finding an opening, it just gets closed.
Yeah. Vega did have better vision, but now Chuan dewarding this top. I'm pretty sure that Vega saw him place him as a reward of his own.
Yeah, Seema might be able to punish him. He's coming in with the illusion runes, but actually instead it's the SD who's having the fun up on top lane. Luo, he's got Catch It as well as Disruption, and with the Light Strike Array connecting, there's a perfect rotation in there from Lina. They've got the illusions to ensure they can get back past the tower, and in fact the creep wave comes in too.
But this area has been blind for like way too long for them. The Shadow Demon has come there, the Lina has come there, Doom kind of died for First Blood in that particular place. So, I mean, Luo's just had a miserable time just because the board was slightly off.
It's surprising they don't give him more support, knowing that Doombringer isn't really one of these heroes that you can efficiently transfer over to the jungle. You can go down there, but it's not efficient. So you would have expected IG to put a little bit more time and effort into that top lane.
Yeah, I think that like Ferrari can come in, Skywrath can come in. Like either of these players can at least get 1 kill, probably 2 kills once Ember Spirit's 6, but looking to maybe just farm a little bit more before things happen. I mean, at the same time, like no one can respond by TPing on his own, and it's probably much more devastating to pop TP soon. But she's kind of quiet.
No one. Gonna get Searing chained up a little bit. Ferrari, I'm actually waiting for when he feels like he's got enough to jump. Like when you got a couple of Fire Remnants stacked up, normally that's when Ferrari gets very aggressive against his opposite mid. But can he even do that up against a Queen of Pain?
Not if she goes for a tanky build. Looks like she's going for an early treads and almost has it, so it'll be very risky diving that far. He'll have to take a lot of tower shots. He's good at taking like magic damage from the rest of the lineup, but you can't tower dive that heavily as Ember.
You know what I'm getting flashbacks to? I'm getting flashbacks to EG a couple of months before TI happened, where you have something like a Sven, which is a very fear-style hero, and then you give him the Morbid Mask. Instantly moves into the jungle, he can farm up because he went 3 points up in the cleave, and that gives the space now for the Skywrath Mage to ensure he gets level 6, and not just that, gets items on supports.
Well, actually, they might have taken the Sven to try and contest gyro stacks. That's, I think, a big benefit of the hero that a lot of other carries don't have. But we see a smoke and...
Cam mid. That's a 3-man smoke moving down past the Radiant Ancients, and Chuan, he feels it too because there's no one up on top lane. The Dire Observer Ward also knows that IG's not there, but he's actually protecting up against Rabbit. That's a big pickup. It's going to get the follow-up Sonic. No, it doesn't even set up on Pasha, but then with that Stormbolt doing some work, it's not enough. Rabbit actually walks back into the Rocket Barrage. They'll Doom over on the Gyro. Now Solo's going to burn down to the feet. Well, yep, there it is. Just that Sleight of Fist to do the work from the Ember Spirit. Pasha, he's got no other help out of here, so Doom will find the last hit there. The Scorched Earth was actually burning through the SD, so it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade-off. You trade just Ven and your Rubik for the Gyro as well as the SD.
Yeah, not bad. Ideally, they would have just caught the Sven, but I mean, it's still risky. They can't actually kill the Ember Spirit. If you lift him up, he'll just slide after. Or I don't think they can hit a blind stun on him. So, I mean, he can just come in. It's only 1 screen away. So I think that's a very risky venture for them and sacrifices a lot of Gyro's mid-game, I think, because of that gank.
It also accelerates Ferrari. Like, you give a kill over to an Ember Spirit, you're going to push his next items up a lot sooner. And you're going to get something back in return. They're going to do so on the bottom lane. Disruption, Catcher, King J into the tree line. Actually, with the movement speed and Matt getting sealed up, he couldn't really follow up with the control, and that allows Ferrari to go for these kills. He's still got a couple of spirits available. Jumps forward. The orb will not be enough to kill off Mag. Just chip him down and force him back a little bit further. But a foul gank there from Vega. But they didn't really expend too much for that. Like, it wasn't a big hook shot cooldown. They did use the Purge of SD, however.
He uses Remnant a little bit late. If he had used it before he got purged, he would have been able to get the kill. But he has to be careful not to use his Flame Guard too early.
Oh, no one. This could be the perfect time. He's coming up and actually going to have the smoke broken. Chuan's here to throw back that Queen of Pain. He was babysitting the blinking forward from no one. He actually connects on Sven. He had the Mask of Madness up, and that's why the bonus damage. But really, with a double kill coming in, Rubik and Sven, and they find this stack. They can't clean. Actually, Seema can do a little bit of it, but not much more. He doesn't have fiery soul levels up, and Ferrari's making his way over. At the same time, Pasha wants to keep the fight going. Very icy. The seal will come in, and Ferrari just goes to work with the Mystic Flare. No one. He's got no more burst damage. That screams on cooldown. Ferrari's going to spirit away. Lacuna Blade comes out from Seema, and he connects with the Slave down the hill and far away, including the hook shot from no one. Blinks forward to join Mag, and it's 9-4. Vega, they're going so deep for these kills. I wonder if they can get out of it safely, because Rabbit comes in, the double stun, looking for the cleave damage. They get the follow-up telekinesis, which will buy him a little bit more time. However, with that disruption solo, at least ensures he won't die to Rabbit, but he'll still die to that Doombringer. So they don't get out scot-free.
The Mask of Madness build is super risky by Rabbit. I mean, he has a lot of magic damage to deal with. I think if they have, like, you know, Dazzle or something like that, which Warcry I think is really effective against, then he can get away with it. But as it's come so far, he's died 2 times while his Mask of Madness has been popped, and some of them have come from, like, the Queen of Pain burst, and I think like a Blink HMD might be a little bit safer for him, but at the same time, Mask is much faster for farming if you have someone else stacking for you.
Yeah.
And he does have a secondary damage dealer, Ember Spirit, if he does die early in the fight.
It's sort of a greed build. Pasha's in a lot of trouble. However, the Searing Chains from Ferrari is not going to hit. The Doom and the Mystic Flare, however, ripping through Pasha. There is a possibility for a Denali from Solo, and that's why he starts up with Disruption. They'll have to tag him straight away, but Doom already finds the kill. They move over to Solo, and they've actually got the stuns from the Golems inside Luo. That's why he had a little bit more extra control, but unfortunately for Luo, he is very much stranded. Laguna Blade, 4 poison stacks as well from Solo, and they will ensure the kill on the Doom. But it's a Jaro for a Doombringer. Doom's not as low as I thought he was, but still, not the greatest trade in the world.
And Chuan getting picked up by the Queen of Pain here.
Yeah, up on top. The Rocket Wall flying in just to help out. Nothing like a haste room for a Queen of Pain.
King Jace has had some really good silences on Clockwork, both on that top fight and the bottom fight. Clockwork could be so much more disruptive.
I love how Doom's still got a presence in the jungle, because he died, he actually gets these Doom shots, which fly around with their own stunts, and he's battling into Solo, and help set up for Ferrari. The defensive stun will be there, and where's your extra control? The Doomlings will not survive much longer, and in fact, Ferrari getting purged up. He's got help coming in from King J. Mystic Flare is also available, and Vega will not force the issue any further.
That purge is so useful versus the Ember Spirit. It's pretty much like an 800 damage nuke if you get it right as soon as he casts Flame Guard, which he has done a couple of times. But Ferrari still has Tread, so he has kind of accounted for this in his item build. And a lot of smokes have been blown through the past couple of minutes to try and kill these early stacks. And this really underfarmed Gyrocopter after the start that he's gotten 1 and 3. There's like so many tanky hitters that are just like right on his face. Generally you have the Rocket Barrage to kind of dissuade them from bum rushing you, but not these guys.
Man, I actually kind of want to go back to this it's the golems inside of Doombringer. Not only do you have like your stuns after, like it was Blitz who was saying, like you just jump in, you get your Doom off, and maybe you don't, but you probably won't get back out again. But he has a presence afterwards, and now here they go again over to the Gyrocopter. Your first stun disruption from Solo will buy a little bit more time. Last Trigger Ray stops Rabbit from attacking, and in comes no one. A huge Sonic Wave hitting again with that Mask of Madness turned on, and Doom, well, you can have multiple versions of him again, but Pasha will mop it up this time around. And there's 2 cores down for IG and Vega, sacrificing absolutely nothing of value.
And Sven has just so much trouble having uptime on any of these guys.
Then again, no one. Hook shot over, and Ferrari, good Searing Chains with a Mystic Flare. Well, okay, value was lost. Ember Spirit gets himself a double kill now, 4-1 on him, but King J, the perfect positioning from this stand in Skywrath.
Yeah, the play from these supports is quite extraordinary this game. They're predicting a lot of the movements and just being ready to blow up heroes in a matter of half a second to a second. No one has time to react to do anything.
It's very useful with the vision they've already managed to claim. Like, there's 2 very early Observer Wards. That initial gank that they did, it gets them vision all across the dire jungle area. If anyone moves in there, IG already know about it. And when they, also with the positioning of the wards, they know when Vega going to rotate down from the jungle.
We're seeing some BKB rushes. Everyone just wants to tank up so they stop dying. Queen of Pain going for BKB, skipping the point booster, and Sven looks like also going for a BKB early.
I kind of wish he doesn't turn on his Mask of Madness during those fights. It's hurt so much just to watch it, let alone live it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough though. Like, how is he gonna stun someone and then not get Cog pushed back, or Queen of Pain blinked, or defensively disrupt, or Demonic Purge, or Lina stuns like that? He has a lot of problems without a BKB. Even with one, I still think it's really difficult for him.
And Ferrari does so much damage to that Gyrocopter. Just one Sleight of Fist Searing Chain, and Jared drops below half life. He had to soak up 2 Urn Shard just to get his life back. And Ferrari's got spirits all over this bottom lane. Underneath the tier 1 tower as well, Vega. Do you really want to try and force this, Mag? Actually not in a bad position for a hook. The problem is he's got no vision of Ferrari running back. And while all this is going on, you've got Luo who's finding space in the middle lane to finish up this desperately needed mech. And Sean's finding space up on the top lane just to enjoy his farm. He's already got level 8, so he's fine with that. But having someone like a Sven here, you got Fortification available for Vega, so Hand of, like, okay, he does actually pop off that God Strength, so the Fortification will come out.
I actually really like Luo's build this game. He's going to die, and he's going to die a lot. So you might as well get as much reliable gold as you can with the Hand of Midas and take as much damage as you can with the mech.
Get out of there, Rabbit. No one is ready to jump. Chuan's also here. Now the Doombringer hasn't arrived in time, and Mag! That's the second time today a recent change that came out in the patch. You can't hookshot through catapults anymore, and then Chuan shows them how to do it. Hookshots up to Seema, isolating the Lina. They find the pickoff, and not just that, Ferrari's in deep here with Lure, but the Sonic Wave obliterates the Ember Spirit, and they have to get back out of here. The Warcry is going to help out Lure with a high amount of movement speed from this one. No one's going to try and remove it with that Shadow Strike, and he'll just TP out. Battery Assault, can Mag get in range? They have the disruption from Solo. That'll do the work. Isolating Lure, pushing him back with the cogs, and be a double kill coming out for the Queen of Pain.
Wow, the Shadow Demon is just crushing Ember Spirit. Like, he can't escape. As soon as he gets purged, he tries to throw his Remnant, and they're like slowly walking, like a step every couple of seconds to try and escape, and he's kind of caught out without his Flame Guard and just dies every single time. This is really rough for Ferrari.
It's like, how do you get past that? Like, put a defensive spirit before every single fight?
Well, ideally you want to blow up Shadow Demon. If you force him to use Disrupt on himself, he's just going to die immediately after, ideally with like a Sven stun or something like that. But they've been, you know, going on other targets. The Lina has been caught out a couple of times, but it's much better that she dies than I think the Shadow Demon. They've also just been bursting down with pure damage, too.
Solo. He won another crack there at Ferrari.
Yeah, as long as Solo's in a pretty good position, they should be able to counter-engage like really, really well. This is with like subpar hook shots, I think, from Mag, as well as him being silenced a couple of times from King J. So imagine if Mag actually gets a good initiation off in a fight, it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, how many times we've really said like that's a great hook shot into then like Cogs and Battery Assault isolating one hero. It hasn't really happened much.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really scared of the Mystic Flare either. Even if he does get that off, they can't counterplay with Mystic Flare.
Especially now he's got Blade Mail. Like that's death to a Skywrath. In fact, now it's King J. He's got to be a little bit more cautious about who he Mystic Flares. Just focus on the SD. If Skywrath Mage is capable of completing, I don't know if he can even go for like a Glimmer Cape, slip him behind, and then seal up the SD. Maybe that's the plan here for IG.
Yeah, they don't have a blink on Doom or a blink on Sven. Like, the only way they can jump the Shadow Demon is if Ember goes on him. And if Ember goes on him, he's likely going to die. So, because he can still purge him while he's chained. So it's really rough when neither of these strength heroes have a good tool to get in the fight. Yeah. You want them causing disruption like immediately from the first stun or the first Doom, and instead all the craziness that's happened is generally from Vega.
But then does IG, like, it looks like Vega's not going to allow them to do this. They 4-man smoke behind that tier 2 tower. But is that when IG just say, you know what, we'll just keep farming up. The BKB was completed on Rabbit. So now he just works towards that Blink Dagger, and then they go.
Yeah, I definitely think they need a blink to start off the fights, and this is like before Gyro has his BKB and Quap now has her BKB, so now it's going to be increasingly difficult. But IG with incredibly good game sense, dodging a couple of these smoke and 5-man movements from Vega.
Apart from Luo. Luo has a wish to die.
I mean, he's in a really good position.
Hook shot's going to come out, and well, this should be a very quick and easy kill. Luo's still got that mech, so he's not as easy as you'd think it would be. And they do have to stick around a little bit longer for all of this, and IG are happy not to fight that, because in the meantime, Ferrari, he forces out the tier 2 fortification and did a lot of damage, got a lot of farm up here. And Solo, well, he comes up here, but he'll just force him back. But it's the middle lane where they're attacking forward. The seal's on Mag, he can't cogs and keep IG back, but IG can't run fast enough to catch up to him as well.
That's still really good for IG. They lost the hero, but from Vega, the spoils of that fight, you ideally want to be the T1 tower. But T1 tower is still at half HP, and they can't really control the jungle as well as they could, and ideally slip in Roche at some point. But they're not really transitioning from these smoke ganks, because IG, with a good D-ward on that bottom side, inside of their own jungle, and just good positioning by all their players.
It was the trademark too of Vega. Like, you take those fights, and then instantly you then take an objective as well. You get yourself into the fights.
Yeah, and it's a 10-second BKB on Quap use. Yeah, I mean, they don't have an Orchid carrier. I think like a, but 6.840, I rely on like a Storm with Orchid to just completely shut down the Shadow Demon. But like as of now, they still have no tool to do.
Here they come. He cuts a shot to slow down Mag. He might get the cogs off, but Seal and Mystic Flare. Now the Blade Mail turns on, but King J taking a considerable amount of damage, but not inflicting enough to kill off Mag.
And Rabbit's build has just been killing him this game. He can't get close to the Clockwork at all.
It's almost like you want to see him with that Blink Dagger instead of having the Mask of Mana so he can blink BKB and then kill the Clockwork off inside of his own cogs.
Yeah, I can understand what he was going for, though. He had a really good start, and he thought he could keep up his farm like really well, get like Mask of Madness and Blink and BKB by this time, but because of Vega's aggression and their deep smokes, he's been punished for it, and I think he's still regretting his Mask of Madness pickup.
It's not even like you can say IG, well, we're just waiting for late game, right? Because Vega's late game isn't really that terrific, but you look at Vega, it's like, well, actually, their late game could work really well. Top lane, Ferrari, this should be not the perfect timing on the Light Strike array, so not a guaranteed kill. And this is time where Ferrari can stay alive and with a completed Battle Fury, so he's going to be looking for a lot more farm and a lot more aggression.
And that's why Ember was picked a lot in 6.84, because he can dodge ganks like that. You're not really scared of a Yule's initiation or disruption initiation, just because you have the instant cast Line of Fist as well as the Remnant, so he's not scared.
Can you even hit that Light Strike array? Like, what is the timing for it? Like,
if played right by Ember Spirit, is impossible to hit. You need like an Ice Path or something like that?
Or Pasha. Okay, it's they leave an aggressive Observer Ward behind IG, but they don't know, like Vega have no idea what IG were up to. They just took the double stack of Vega and then just ran away. Because with this, Sven now has Blink Dagger. Like, you'll farm this bottom wave and then have Blink Dagger, and we'll TP into this mid lane for the fight.
Yeah, they really want this mid tower.
He's actually TPing already. He buys and goes all the way back to base. He wasn't low on mana. He's going to Warcry the front lines. Also, meanwhile, up in Ferrari land, he's just pushing into the tier 3 tower. Forces Solo to come back and gets a Searing Chain. Solo has to Glimmer Cape to try and escape from it. The Ferrari defensively jumps back out.
I think it's a really good mid-game adaptation by Ferrari. He realizes he can't ever play balls to the wall and go in really deep on the Vega line because of the Demonic Purge. So instead, he's playing a more split-pushy game because Vega loves the 5-man, they love to take objectives, and they want to take Roshan at some point. And they can't do that with the T1 tower up, and he's just kind of splitting them around the map. And now Rabbit has his Blink Dagger. This is the time. Blink, BKB, Mask of Madness. He should obliterate them, and if it catches them off guard.
Man, if they want to jump for this, they're going to go inside the base of Vega. They haven't found anybody.
It's fine. Towers don't really matter because of the level 4 Warcry. You have 20 armor, so you're okay with diving T3s if you can actually get the jump on someone. But they don't have any vision at the area. Still, they plant a pretty good Observer Ward. They have somewhat control of Vega's actions, and more importantly, their tier 1 tower mid still stands.
I actually thought they'd force it a little bit more because that Observer Ward. They placed that one last time when they were up near the Ancient area. But to actually force into the tier 2 tower, maybe put a ward a little bit deeper, that hillside next to the tier 2 on bottom for Vega. Maybe that would have been another option, but for now they have to come back to the mid. So you already have Rabbit TPing into to defend.
They know Gyro's very vulnerable when he goes to the Ancients, though. He doesn't have any sustain.
Here they go. Mask of Madness jump in with the BKB will trigger up. Solo try to make it difficult for Rabbit to finish off this job on Pasha. The Sonic Wave will connect, but Rabbit taking very minimal damage. And with the Spider Fist also connecting in Mag, the Mystic Flare, King J almost kills himself, but not quite enough. You do actually have the jump forward. No one doomed up for the moment. The Spider Fist, he dodges the Laguna Blade. Damn, Ferrari so good on that hero. It's a double kill for King J. Queen of Pain just ticks out from the Doom. And Solo, the last man standing, is about to end up he will go down. Glimmer Cape will not save him. He'll end up popping an IG wipe Vega, and all they lose is the Doombringer, which they've shown time and time again they're happy to let die. Actually, they did lose the Skywrath Mage as well. Looks like the poison ticked him out.
The mobility from the Ember Spirit is crushing Vega right now. They're forced into these bad spots where, okay, well, if we don't push, they're just going to split push us, and we can't really accrue any farm because Gyro is still very vulnerable without a BKB. So they decide to go for a 5-man push, and Luo, it looks like he just runs in and dies, but that's actually all he needs to do to win the fight. He tanked up so much. He tanked, Mag's hookshot, the Cog, and he didn't even get his mech off, but at least he got his Doom off on a very high priority target, the Queen of Pain, and Ember cleans up, and of course, Rabbit finally with his Blink that can actually do something in the fight.
Ferrari battling up against Zima. He dodged the initiation. The hookshot from Mag can't control him. Ferrari takes the kill. He had a double damage rune. And it was the Yule Scepter initiation that attempted once again. And failing once again, Sleight of Fist inflicted a large amount of damage to that Lina. And now also Solo. He'll purge Ferrari in return. And Ferrari's just staring him down. It's like, well, okay, you've just used Purge. Don't have Flame Guard. 2 poison sacks there, but Ferrari, Sleight of Fist Searing Chain Solo, it's not enough to tick out the Glimmer Cape. Protection again, Ferrari, I hope you go Defensive Spirit, or else this is just a interesting choice.
He does have a remnant. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's right by the mid T1 tower, but he didn't expect the burst from the queen. So now they realize that, okay, we have to get an Orchid to lock him down. But by the time he gets the Orchid, he's probably going to have the Manta up, probably, I guess, within like 2 or 3 minutes. If he didn't have that death, he'd probably have it around the same time. But that's one of the downsides of the BKB first on Queen of Pain. It didn't really save her because she got doomed, and it doesn't really do anything versus the Ember Spirit. I guess you won't die, but you need to kill him. You need to limit his farm somehow because Pasha is still very, very poor.
As a Jara comes without big damage dealing items, that's always been the big thing for the Jara, is that last little bit of a hurdle. You can get the SMY to get you through the early point of the game, then your BKB so you can survive in the fights, but until you get something like that Monkey King bar up and running, you just don't really have that fear factor you get from a big flat cannoning gyrocopter.
Yeah, it's all been about the smokes this game. All those mid-game smokes were like really important that IG dodged them. They got 3 return kills on the one near their stack, and then they smoked an opponent's jungle and got the gyro kill. Those are the ones that just crush your economy. And he wants a BKB. He needs a BKB.
I don't know if that's going to be enough, because I'm looking at Sven now with a Crystallis in his hands. And we know what happens when Sven's able to pick up like a full Daedalus and just cleaves through all of Vega. And they're not really the tankiest of heroes.
Yeah, but they can kite him as like the defensive disruption after he stuns, and then you demonic purge him, and then you cog him and force step yourself out, and he's locked in there for his entire BKB duration. They just
have to make sure everything's going to be there, because with one swing from Sven, he can still take out your entire team, so you need to control him before that point.
Yeah, he has a lot of HP right now, 1900. He needs to make sure that he doesn't take like a Ags Laguna and like a Ags Queen of Pain, but neither of them have the farm for that. So they've been doing a really good job of limiting the farm of Vega.
Solo stab. This is actually quite big because they got the gem. So they're just pulling forward. He's actually able to pet a Glimmer Cape off in time, but it won't save him to get the gem up. And now as Ferrari gets bursted down, Laguna Blade and Sonic Wave being committed, but Laguna Blade stolen by Chuan and used against the Lina. Into a 2-on-1 trade-off, and Mag didn't really want to be here. He might have the blade mail up, but Rabbit just used his BKB. Needs to finish this job, however. The Scorched Earth will actually do the work. There's 3 kills going the way of IG. They do lose Ferrari very quickly, but you saw the commitment. You said the commitment as well. Like, how much was it going to be? Was Aghanim's burst? They could do it without it, but they had nothing left at that point.
Yeah, I'm surprised he got caught out there. I didn't really see that side of the fight, but at this point you have to throw so many spells to kill Ember or Sven or Doom that the other 2 are just going to clean you up at this point, because all they have on Vega is a mildly farmed Queen of Pain, and she's not even that farmed. She's still 2,000 net worth below the Sven, and Gyro is really, really low on that net worth chart.
Yeah, sitting below Ember, Doom, Queen of Pain, and the Sven.
Maybe that's the thing. Warcry, pick a lot of heroes that can tank up and just run at him.
That's it, man. That's it. Sven was originally the counter tanky, so just Warcry it up and walk through all of his mines. And up against a hero who, like, Pasha's not really getting in range where we're seeing Rocket Barrage really doing a lot of work. So you turn on your flag cannon, and then what do you really got? Like, you don't do enough damage, and then there's a huge bit of armor, so you do even less damage.
Yeah, this is I think, an overall good gameplay from IG. They keep the gyrocopter down, and then they have Warcry to deal with an underfarmed gyrocopter, and then now they have BKBs to deal with the spells. So he's actually doing very, very little damage in the fights.
And then you ask for Queen of Pain to come in and do the damage, but she just let Sonic Wave go, and then there's nothing left.
Yeah, she had to build BKB, so her Sonic Wave doesn't do that much, and Lina has been kept down, so her Ags is
here they come. Sleight of Fist here in chains, but all of Vega's right behind. Laguna Blade was still there from Chuan, pumping it into that gyrocopter, but Pasha back to World Living, still gets the call down out, but Luo on the front lines, he's got Doom available. Hasn't really decided on a target just yet, and now no one's moved forward. But Luo is stunned up in the back lines. It just spreads out into a very, very weird kind of fight. Ferrari wants to come back in against the Doom up in the air. Now he gets the Doom over on that Queen of Pain. Defensive disruption will buy a little bit of time, but it won't stop no one from dying here, especially when Chuan's on the front lines with the Scream, inflicting the damage into Vega. A 3-on-2 trade-off is what we've had. And there's also the numbers that's left for the fight. 22-22, just scrapping it out in the mid lane.
Without a BKB pop from Rabbit, and Vega still lost that fight pretty badly, and the Rubik play this tournament has just been fantastic. From Chuan, from CDEC, like he's stolen Laguna a couple of times, and Clockwork hook shot.
And he held on to Laguna before that fight. Might have also been another reason why IG wanted to try and force it. They realized they had all of this extra bonus damage. It took so long for that Doombringer to die. Like, he just sat in the front lines. It's like Vega didn't want to try against him. Like, he survived for a good 30 seconds without actually casting Doom during that fight.
Yeah, and they just don't really have the damage to kill him at all. Like,
so where's the answer? Like, do we just say, okay, Jaro, get your ass back into the jungle, just farm up as much as you can, stack and farm, stack and farm. That's the plan. Get your Demon Edge up and get into a Monkey King bar.
I actually think Lena Ags is maybe more important because Sven's going to feel safe with his BKB on, and if he pops Mask of Madness and then he takes Ags Laguna, he's going to be down to like a third HP. So that's kind of one hero gone from the fight. He can die from Sonic Wave or something else after that. And then, you know, that's kind of trading off the Doombringer's Doom, who will also eliminate a hero from the fight. But as you mentioned, the Gyrocopter does need to get more arms, so he can actually do the physical damage that the Sven and the Ember are doing at this point.
Well, they're coming. They're force-stuffing forward. That Observer Ward gave the vision to IG, and they're trying to make the most out of this Blink Dagger, which is now on Luo. He switched his aura over to be into that Pack Aura, so there's even more damage kicking in for the rest of IG.
And the forceps are pretty important too to keep Ferrari alive. He's going to be the Orchid target almost every time for Queen of Pain. Yeah.
Do that, just push him back out. Doesn't matter if they even purge him at that point.
Yeah, there's one force staff for a Clockwork Hookshot and one force staff for the Orchid target, most likely Emperor Spirit. So these supports have had like phenomenal positioning in the fights. Like only 5 deaths combined from King J and Chuan. I mean, they do have like these huge beefy strength heroes though. So
I don't think he's going to be that worried about hookshot anymore. Actually, do have the Mana Style now up for the Ember Spirit. So with that, if you hookshot in, Ferrari could even just Mana Style himself out of the cogs.
Oh yeah, I thought that'd be a little bit later considering how many times they've killed him. But
yeah, that's actually quite good on timing. Vega, they're really trying to go for something now, like a 5-man smoke move into the Radiant jungle. They
know something is weird though.
If they loop to the left, they could come up behind IG. So if IG feel like maybe there's a trap inside the lane and not behind, actually look at King J's positioning. Rabbit can give the perfect vision down this direction. You just had King J in the tree line, which would break the smoke, but they've decided to walk even further back into the lane, waste more time now with Vega.
And notice how their positioning is. They have the big strength heroes out in front, so that if they approach from the top,
look at Luo, he just walks in, he's going to reveal everything, gets the BKB off with a sleight of fist as well. The initial damage into Cop is so big, and with a Laguna Blade, it doesn't even do any kind of real damage. They lose their Queen of Pain, Parsh's BKB is about to wear off in a moment, and Luo just keeps charging down there. Man gets isolated, it's Ferrari who's getting just beaten down by Steam with a sleight of fist with the TD. Does all the work they want to. This is a complete wipe right now in favor of IG. Ferrari's the last man battling up against Seema. The sleight of fist and just slices him in two. Vega lose everything and take nothing from IG.
And we talked a lot about how Doom was a pretty good pick and probably underpicked, and I think this game really exemplifies the utility of the hero. He's like such a big meat shield in the front. He has 9 deaths, but he can just completely take out the co-op. She built BKB first, she built survivability, and she can't do anything in these fights.
It's not that Lewis got huge items either, like he got mech and BKB, and that's all 30 minutes in, yet you're still tanking up so much.
Yeah, he has Aquila aura, he has mech aura, and he has the level death, or sorry, the pack leader's aura, so he's actually providing a lot from his team from just standing there.
Yep. It's crazy to see that this Doombringer can be so big after you look at him being paper, like the hero that starts with no armor at the start of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea though. They have like a very high HP hero with the armor from the Sven, and he had a 0-3-0 start, I believe, with his tower being taken down and no stacks for him.
Yep.
Because Sven took him out.
And now this Doombringer sitting in the 3rd highest net worth. Only 1,000 behind that of the Sven, who does complete up his full Daedalus as well. The Courier's flying out at the moment with that Daedalus rest to be on it to pick up the Demon Edge. So then Rabbit's damage is going to be even more amplified during the fights. I still want to say too, like this Laguna Blade from Seema, it doesn't really feel like it's done anything at all in the last 3 engagements.
I mean, they're all like really high HP heroes, 2,000 HP mark for a couple of these, as well as the null field, which is, you know, kind of hard to visualize how useful it is, but it's definitely adding up.
Yeah, and then you also have Ferrari, who can sleight of fist dodge the Laguna, so you don't find that earlier damage which you really want to have. So then the Queen of Pain can come in and finish the job. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, they actually have like so many defensive tools that's. It's ridiculous. It's just mitigation everywhere. Flame Guard and Doom with his Trank Armor and Scorched Earth and Null Field and Warcry. Like all these things just makes it seem like Vega do no damage in fights from heroes that you traditionally just see people blow up in half a second.
Well, Vega are going to try it again. Mag, Doesn't find a line for the hook shot. Rabbit and Chuan are still here, so he's going to rock to get the vision, and then he'll realize that Luo's, look at that armor. You've actually got plus 29 over on that Doombringer, who runs forward. Doom's over on Pasha. Mag trying to force up himself down to the pit, and Rabbit took the bait. He blinked down into the pit, but then Maggie walks towards Rabbit. The cogs will come up, but he'll die to King J. The Skywrath Mage coming in a little bit later.
Chuan, he lifted the Clockwork as he was hookshotting, and it wasted his cooldown. It didn't even stun anyone. He lifted him mid hookshot.
And then steals hookshot as well. Like,
he's just making Clockwork look silly.
He is an amazing Ruby player. It's great to see Chuan as well back up in the list where we can start saying great plays coming out from Chuan.
Yeah, he really. I mean, that is his signature hero, but we haven't seen too much of Chuan lately.
Yep. Like he had a decent run at TI, but it's not gonna be like one of the, like he was playing up against people like FY, who was everyone's like, okay, well done, boys. Like, game is good. This guy is the greatest.
Of invisibility.
Yeah, he's been playing like a beast. Been holding the gem for quite some time and still sitting at that 3 death mark. I think he's been at that for 20 minutes.
Ferrari's looking for an easy pick.
They need Doom probably to kill him, or a Rabbit stun into a lift.
May not just be a back killing. Like harass him down, and then, well, hello Chuan. Hook shots into Solo, pick him up. Ferrari's already used his searing chains, but Solo can't escape from that. A very nice pickup, set up again by Chuan, that Rubik.
Yeah, their farm is just severely lacking at this point.
Radiant's top tower.
And Doom's gonna have a Shiva, so he can just kind of run in and Shivas and just run around with Scorcher.
Look at the jump again. Ferrari actually blink daggering himself forward, trying to just catch out one of the Vega heroes out of position. Now he soaks up that early Orchid of no one, takes no extra damage, and Rabbit gets the BKB out from Partial. Get the Yule Scepter over on the Ember Spirit, but then Ferrari, the Sleight of Fist dodge, the Cogs pushback is nice, but then you just have so much damage, so much tankability, so much survivability in IG that all of Vega's damage does nothing. Luo chases in so deep, he leveled Deaths down the Gyrocopter, and GG. It has been an absolute bloodbath. 54 kills in 38 minutes, but Invictus Gaming, it's felt like the last 20 minutes really belonged to them.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it seemed like an outright